She stood on the balcony, talking on the phone, her laughter sharp and cruel. "He won't last long," she said confidently. "Everything he owns will be mine. Soon." But what she didn't know was that her husband was standing right behind the half-open door, listening, heart-shattering, eyes burning. And that night, the man she thought was weak died forever. What he did next turned her arrogance into ashes and left everyone speechless. David Hayes, 40, was a humble man who had built his life from nothing. He owned a small construction company and a beautiful house, both fruits of years of hard work. His wife, Vanessa, had been with him for 7 years, elegant, charming, and, as everyone believed, supportive. But David didn't realize that behind her smile was greed waiting for the right moment to strike. It started after David fell sick. A sudden heart condition forced him to step back from work. Doctors warned him to rest, and in that vulnerable time, Vanessa changed. She stopped visiting him at the hospital regularly, started spending more money, and seemed happier when he wasn't around. One evening, while recovering at home, David overheard her on a call with her best friend. "Don't worry about David," she said, laughing. "He won't last long, and everything he owns will be mine. I've waited too long to live rich and free." David froze. The woman he had trusted with his life was waiting for him to die just to inherit everything. But instead of confronting her, he smiled. Because something in him snapped, and for the first time he saw her clearly. That night, he made a promise to himself. If she wants everything I own, she'll soon find out what it means to have nothing. Over the next few weeks, David played the part of the weak, clueless husband. He pretended not to hear her lies or see her secret smiles. Meanwhile, he began moving everything he owned, his business, house, vehicles, into a trust managed by his lifelong friend and lawyer, Henry. Every asset, every penny, secured beyond her reach. And then he made the biggest move. He rewrote his will, leaving everything not to her, but to a children's hospital foundation he had long supported. 2 months later, Vanessa's patience broke. She started pushing for his signature on random documents. "You need to sign these for the insurance," she'd say sweetly. But David always replied, "Later, honey. I'm too tired today." Then one morning, he called her to the living room. His voice was weaker than usual, his face pale. "Vanessa," he said gently, "I want to make things easier for you. Let's visit my lawyer and make sure everything's settled for the future." Her eyes lit up. "Finally," she said, pretending to care. "Yes, let's do that." At the lawyer's office, Henry greeted them both. "I've prepared the final documents," he said, handing David a folder. David signed, then handed it to Vanessa. "There, it's done. Everything's taken care of," he said with a smile. Vanessa could barely hide her excitement. She thought she had just secured her future. But she didn't know that the papers she had just witnessed weren't a transfer to her, but a final legal confirmation of everything belonging to Charity. 2 weeks later, David's health took another hit, and he was admitted to the hospital. Vanessa barely visited, already dreaming of selling the house. But one morning she received a call. Henry's voice was calm. "Vanessa, David passed peacefully last night. The reading of his will is tomorrow. Please attend." Tears filled her eyes, but not from grief. "Finally," she whispered. "It's all mine now." The next day, at the lawyer's office, she sat confidently as Henry began reading the will. "To my wife, Vanessa Hayes," he said, pausing for effect, "I leave my gratitude for teaching me the true meaning of love and betrayal." Her smile faded. "To the Children's Care Foundation, I leave all my assets, properties, and business ownerships." Vanessa's jaw dropped. "What? That can't be right!" she screamed. Henry slid a folder toward her. "It's all legal. Signed and witnessed. You don't own a single thing." She stood up, trembling. "He tricked me. He lied." Henry looked at her calmly. "He didn't lie. You just never cared enough to read what you were signing." At that moment, a video began playing on the screen. It was David smiling weakly from his hospital bed. "Vanessa," he said softly, "you wanted everything I had. Now everything I had will go to those who truly need it. Greed built nothing, love built everything, and love will outlive you." Vanessa fell to her knees, sobbing, realizing that in trying to take everything, She had lost it all. Months later, the hospital wing named the David Hayes Foundation for Children stood proudly. His story spread like wildfire, an example of quiet strength, poetic justice, and the truth that betrayal never wins in the end. If you liked the video, please subscribe and turn on notifications.